Hi again. This is another episode of The Ragening. Today we're going to look at a little infographic. I think it was originally created by the right, then appropriated by the left to be more flattering.
Much like, scissors, tin openers, pencil sharpeners, that sort of thing. It's not enough that we be left-handed. We must be right-handed. It's not as simple as left and right, is what I'm saying. Otherwise, we wouldn't need the word woke.
Anyway, this is the intro, the setting of the stage, the definition of woke.
Spoiler alert, it means lycophobic. If anyone challenges you to define what woke means, because nobody actually can, right? You don't have to give them an unwieldy wall of text, like the kind of quote-unquote leftist memes we would otherwise ridicule. You can give a one-word answer, lycophobic. But nobody listens to me and nobody cares, so I guess I might as well indulge the memes. Go on then.
Woke. A state of awareness achieved by intellectually sensitive individuals who have empathy for the plight of others, especially those suffering injustice and oppression.
First of all, it's been categorized as an adjective here, but described as a noun. You could have got an English major involved. Quite a lot of them are woke. Secondly, you'll notice the problem with these needlessly garrulous, drawn-out definitions. They pile on more weird words that require more definitions, and you haven't clarified anything. You've only made it muddier. Sure enough, this here is an attempt to define a euphemism using a series of other euphemisms. Awareness means bigotry. Intellectually sensitive means gullible. Individuals means hive minds. Empathy for the plight of others means contempt for their own in-group. So it's a state of bigotry achieved by gullible hive minds who have contempt for their own in-group, especially those suffering injustice and oppression. And that just so happens to be the definition of lycophobia. Ergo it is, by definition, a euphemism for lycophobia. And misandry, of course, but that's arguably a sort of subcategory.
Of course, you can never question their particular framework of who is suffering injustice and oppression. For example, I like to go back to patriarchy allegation, because this is where everything starts. Everything else is downstream of this. Everything else comes as a result of needing to prove that women are victims of society. Therefore, you have to go on a quest to find the victim MacGuffin, the next cool victimhood group to keep your allegation that women are subject to victimization by society relevant. Because otherwise people might start to think they aren't, because they aren't. So you always got to bring in some new victimhood resources from new untapped sources of victimhood. Yeah, okay. So looking at that, patriarchy theory, it has never been proved, or patriarchy allegation has never been proved, even to the standard of a civil court standard, with preponderance of the evidence standard, much less a scientific standard. In fact, on the level of scientific proof, patriarchy conjecture, get this, has been disproven. It's complete hokum, right? It has no predictive value, and it fails to explain most human phenomenon. And furthermore, just to give you some perspective, there's more scientific proof for telepathy than there is behind patriarchy conjecture, right? So we should be, like Dr., Professor X, yeah, that's more real than patriarchy allegation, right? Just to put it in perspective for you, more scientific proof for telepathy than patriarchy allegation. And yet, anybody who questions this particular framework of who deserves compassion, namely women and not men, anybody who questions that is immediately cast in the role of Super Satan. Okay, no pass go. All right. The synonyms for woke are empathetic, astute, perceptive, thoughtful, insightful, discerning.
Empathy is in this definition of this word, yet it is also a synonym of the word. Even on your own face value terms, you're describing a concept using the same concept. Much like defining a woman as whatever we say is a woman, or defining a real man as whatever we tell a man to do. Circular definitions are a typical but not essential characteristic of what we call woke, or indeed any other form of bigotry.
Antonyms: ignorant, simple, unreasonable, illogical, apathetic, and indifferent.
Asleep? Might have worked there. Sounds too innocent though, doesn't it? It doesn't sound demonizing enough.
Us people on the good side, we're good. Those people on the bad side, they're bad. Okay.
You know, I can do exactly the same thing with xenophobia. I can just pretend that there's no such thing as xenophobia, right? And if I ever do see something that resembles xenophobia, I'll just call it based. Invade foreign nations and murder innocent people? Oh, based. And how am I defining based? Like so. That's right. In exactly the same way. I could fill in the blank with any euphemism for any kind of bigotry or even atrocity, and this definition could be used to justify it because it is not a definition. It is a fluff piece and a Barnum statement. An interchangeable, cold-reading horoscope. It tells us absolutely nothing other than me favourite thing, re. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right, 10 symptoms of the woke mind. 1. You read books and don't burn them.
You guys will burn entire bookshops, even if there's a black-owned business sign on the door. You're a bit like the climate activists who can't see the wood for the trees they're burning.
What level are we at on the Bradbury scale of dystopia yet, Mike?
Over 9,000.
I'm pretty sure we're pushing that needle up. You guys are the ones who are behind the sensitivity readers and censoring people for using the terms chocolate skin. Okay, you guys, no, you don't get, no. Yes, the right is also censorious, and it's not good when they do it either. Call it out when they do it as well. But it's not like you guys aren't doing the same damn thing.
Footnote, pornography should be kept away from children. Not burned, not banned. Just, if you got kids, don't leave pornography sprawled open on the floor of your bathroom. Or right there in the school library next to the Very Hungry Caterpillar, yeah?
Okay. 2, you embrace science. Do you remember that little rant that I said about patriarchy allegation? No, you don't. Because if you embrace science, you admit patriarchy has been disproven. But then the entirety of your worldview would crumble in on itself. And we would stop having to venture forth and find new sources of proof that women are victimized by society. Because, disabled people are, and trans people are, and black people are discriminated against, and whoa, don't look that way. Yes, and also women. Okay.
Can you guys stop embracing science? Please? You're hurting it.
All right. 3, you are willing to change your mind when new information becomes available.
Ah, yes. The settled science. It has changed again.
As somebody who has attempted for the past 20 years to get the woke individuals, the progressives, to admit to information that has been available since the 70s, no, you don't. 4, you understand that most issues are not black. Let me try again. You understand that most issues are not black and white.
Well, no, they're white and non-white. Binary and non-binary.
Can I just... Of course, most issues are not black and white. But who's woke and isn't woke? Very black and white. The ignorant aren't woke. The stupendously, marvelously brave are woke. The very intelligent are woke. The orcs are not woke. No. You know, you got the good elves who are the woke, and then you have the ugly, shit-smearing, meat-eating orcs who are not woke. But you don't think in black and white. Oh, no. That's a lot of nuance, right?
It all started with man bad, woman good, you know. They act like they don't know what woman means, but they do. It means good. And that's all it means. And yes, good means whatever we say it means. Meanwhile, man means bad, and bad means do what we say. It all makes sense in its own sort of nightmarish logic.
You believe in true equality for all people.
Then you literally won't stop until everyone is in a bubble and is a clone of a disabled black Mexican lesbian Muslim otherkin or some shit. Whatever the ends or whatever the means, you can bet your bottom the first thing you will clone out of existence is men.
Yeah, you have this permanent belief about equality. Men aren't included in your equation about equality, but you believe about it. You believe in equality for all people. It's just that men never need it, right? Okay. You like to share. 6. You like to share.
Okay, I'm bored now. This is just a euphemism for communism. That last one was just a euphemism for communism, and spoiler alert, the next one, you embrace cooperation, is also a euphemism for communism. And yes, even communism is a euphemism. A euphemism for what, Mike? I hear you ask, and you can probably guess my answer if you've been following the pattern.
8. You respect other people's rights, like property and the Second Amendment and the right to free speech.
Lol.
We didn't go through like 6 years of you mocking free speech.
On the subject of others' rights, is it a good time to bring up the phenomenon of men's rights? It never is. I suppose men don't count as the others, so they don't get the rights, so they're excluded.
You believe the culture. 9. You believe the culture and arts have value, which is why you are destroying them with censorship.
But Alison, art does not count as art, and culture does not count as culture, as long as slavery has ever existed. And it has. So all your statues of your heroes and your pioneers are all going to get torn down and demolished by people clad head to foot in Southeast Asian sweatshop exports. It's a funny old world.
Oh boy. 10. You care for the planet and all of its life, except for humans. Humans have got to go. I mean, that's really what this all is about, right? If you say that we have to reduce our reliance on petrochemicals, we don't have anything in the wings waiting to buffer that. So if we're going to reduce our reliance, that means about 90% of people have to die. And incidentally, we need to start with the youngest. So, because, like somebody like me, we got 30 years of carbon footprint left. Somebody in their 20s with pigtails has about 50. So we need to start by reducing that carbon footprint, right? You guys. So if you want to save the environment, and you're young, if you're a young person who wants to save the environment, kill yourself in Minecraft. Okay, I think, Mikey, I got to get rid of that one. Oh, if we're going to get away with it.
She didn't mean it, folks. She didn't mean kill yourself in Minecraft. She meant kill yourself in Canada. That ought to be the go-to statement qualifier for legal reasons when it comes to the kill yourself meme. After all, if you say it online, it's a crime. If you say it in a Canadian medical facility on behalf of the government, it's... I suppose the word would be woke.
That's what they think. They don't think black and white, but they certainly are saving all of the positive human attributes for themselves. And they certainly believe in sharing, but they're giving none of those positive attributes to anybody but themselves. Okay.
Well, we've done woke. We've briefly touched on based. We've touched base. Just for good measure, what does cringe mean? As it happens, there are no tricks behind it. It just means I'm cringing. It literally means I'm reacting so emotionally that I have lost control of my faculties. Funnily enough, it means essentially the same thing as offensive. Namely, nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's a whinge. It's a pout. It's what wankers say when they want to criticize something but they can't figure out how. But it's totally different when we do it because we have a different word for it. Good night, folks. Thanks for coming. Tune in next time for another exciting episode of You Have the Half-Eaten Crayon Vocabulary of a Rather Dull Child and You Need a Slap in Canada. Toodle pip, y'all. Back soon.